We're gonna do another live stream here of a couple of games in my career. I think maybe we got some things to talk about in the sports world. Some interesting happenings last night. Kobe Bryant's last game, 60 points. Wow, way to go out, right? I think I said last time I'm not a big Kobe fan, but you got to appreciate the guy going out and getting 60 in his last game. On the other ESPN game, Golden State ended up getting 73rd win of the season, so kudos to them for that. I just never expected that record to be broken ever. It just looked like the Bulls were going to be the all-time greatest team, at least for a season, and no, that's changed too. In that same game, Steph Curry hit his 400th three-pointer in a single season. That guy is bonkers. That's unbelievable. But, you know, that's I guess that's where the game's going now, is the three-point line and smaller big men, and so that's cool. So we're going to get into game one here against the Celtic Football Club. Hopefully not get any red cards and maybe a couple of goals. I'm going to stick with the Blues. We know how we like the Blues. I'll put them in full greens for fun. Alright. So in baseball news, wow. Baltimore got beat by Boston last night. First loss of the season. That's, you know, I mean, it's expected with that long of a season for Major League Baseball anyways, but, you know, still, Boston be the team that does it. It seems like Boston always ends up doing something to someone's season. So that, you know, cool. Kudos to them. I think Baltimore's going to do pretty well this season. I said in the last video I was going to be looking for a baseball team and a hockey team, basketball team to start rooting for. So I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon and say Baltimore though. Maybe next video I'll give you guys my choice. Now over in the NFL. Wow, huge news. St. Louis trades like all of their picks. And, well, not all of their picks. A couple first rounders, three second rounders, a couple third rounders to Tennessee to get the first overall pick in the draft in a couple weeks. It's huge. There was a lot of talk that obviously Tennessee wasn't going to take a quarterback because they got Marcus last year. So they're going to move back to 15th, one pick ahead of the Lions, my team, and the Rams are going to probably end up going out and get one of the quarterbacks. It's going to shake up some of the draft, but it's not going to shake up anything for me personally. I would really be interested in Detroit trying to move up and get Ramsey, but they don't do stuff like that. They don't do things that make me happy. So, you know, that's a couple of the sporting things that have happened in recent days. Well, yesterday and early this morning. So, alright, Celtic Club. I didn't get any posts or anything about that, about what's going on with my transfer. So I'm going to just assume I'm a shitty player and shitty players get sent down. And, yeah, I'll just grind it out from here. My goal, I think, is going to be to stay... I'm going to stay past midfield, and I know it's going to be kind of a boring watch because I'm not going to be doing a lot of stuff, but I'm burning way too much stamina trying to go back and play defense on... Oh, that was a bad idea. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to try to save my stamina so I can stay in some games. Stay on my feet so I don't get red cards. I'm going to try to be a good player. We're going to see how that goes. So, what else is going on? Well, in the sporting world, I mean, the draft is coming up. That's huge news. We got hockey playoffs starting. Basketball playoffs are going to be starting soon. Ouch. That hurt. I don't think anyone can pick against Golden State right now. They're nasty. A lot of the sports commentators are trying to make it sound interesting, so they're trying to say how certain teams could take games from them, but you can't beat them in a series. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's, you know, they're gonna. they're guaranteed to be the Western Conference representative in the finals. Now, that does mean, you know, they got to play someone from the East, but there's not a team in the East built to play against Golden State either. You know, there's not a... I mean, I guess if Cleveland goes LeBron as a 4 and gets their bigs off the court, because that's the only way you're going to be able to keep up with Golden State, is you're going to have to play small ball. During the game, during the Golden State game, I heard a little bit of news about Luke Walton possibly being a option for head coaching next year. I think that's a dangerous move for whoever does that, because they're basically saying that the team that was there in place that can play without their coach, because they're a shooting team. They're not going out there and, I mean, I guess Steph Curry is leading the league in steals and stuff, but they're not going out there and playing this impenetrable defense or anything like that. They're I don't know if anyone watched the game last night, but Curry put down like 4 threes when the game was tied and blew it out to a 12-point lead, like, right quick. And you don't teach that. You can't coach Steph Curry into shooting 3-pointers. Like, Luke Walton may have some success as a coach. As we get a goal, awesome. He might have some success in the league, but it's only because he goes to the right team. It's not going to be because he's got talent. The days of having talented coaches being able to coach up players is far and few between. Well, Boston's coach there. Who's coaching Boston? Bradley. He's doing a coach job. No superstar, which you don't need a superstar. You don't need a superstar on a team, but you know, he's got mid-round talent on his team. There's no future Hall of Famers on that roster. There's nothing that would make you think that they're going to do much, but man, did they make Miami look like fools yesterday. At one point it was a 34-4 run, you know. And again, like, that's a far and few between thing. You don't see a lot of coaches. I mean, yeah, it helps that it's Boston and they got all these Hall of Famers in the crowd, and it's great that Isaiah Thomas can play. I mean, he's a good player, but if you're going to build a roster around Isaiah Thomas, then you're going to lose a lot of games. But they didn't build it around Isaiah Thomas. He has spurts of great game, but then you also get, like, Bradley scores points. Smart steps up every now and then. Olink, I think is his name. He's fun to watch. He got to play a lot more in the post last night than normal. He's usually a European style post guy, and you know, playing out by the 3-point line and whatnot. But he got to play down low because no one could match him up. You know, so that was cool. And I like Jared Sullinger coming out of college, but he's undersized. He's already got injury issues. I mean, he's I don't know. I think he's just a better version of Glenn Davis, to be honest. Now, with that said, I don't think that much of Glenn Davis as far as it goes as a pro. You know, he's undersized, can't really hop too high. And, I mean, he doesn't present like a great defensive threat or an offensive weapon. So what is he? He's kind of just a guy that sets screens and gets the easy conventional rebounds. Doesn't blow you away in any stretch of the imagination. So I guess that's my rant on Glenn Davis for today. I mean, no offense to the guy. I mean, he's obviously talented enough to be in the pros, so what do I know? But from watching him, it just seems like, I mean, he's in the league because he's tall. But he's not even that tall. Like, he's just an average guy. So that's sports. I mean, for me, anyways. Like I said before, I'm trying to get into hockey, so maybe I'll watch some of the playoffs and get to know some of the teams. I was early in my life a Avalanche fan. I did get to go see Avalanche Coyotes playoff game back in the day, long time ago. That was when WoW was still playing. And I was more of a WoW fan than I was an Avalanche fan. But, you know, what are you going to do? Growing up in Western New York, you would have, you know, you would think I'd be a Sabres fan. But, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do because they're young, and young is usually fun when it comes to sports. But Buffalo sports teams have never really had that great of success when it comes to bringing home championships. So, yeah. But good luck to them anyways. Baseball-wise, I don't know. Like, Baltimore was interesting. It was interesting to see them undefeated up front because all they do is hit home runs. So it was like, okay, that's cool. I was a Mariners fan when I was young. Again, Ken Griffey Jr. fan. But then I grew to like Jay Buhner, and the early A-Rod years was fun. Randy Johnson, obviously. But, you know, that was, again, it was probably more of a Ken Griffey Jr. kind of thing than it was a Seattle Mariners kind of thing. As someone who played baseball as a left-handed hitter, being, you know, wanting to look as smooth as Ken Griffey did when he hit the ball is, yeah, it's everyone's goal. But yeah, so that's, you know, that's, oh, is that a card? Or is that just a bump? Or is that the half? Damn, which one of those things happens? Oh, it's halftime. Okay, cool. All right. So, first half, 1-0. I didn't do jack diddly. Maybe it's because I'm talking too much. I don't know. So what else is going on? Oh, there's some decent videos up on YouTube right now. Guys should go check out Linkara. He's just put out another Spider-Man comic review with Judas Traveler. Actually, 4-part review with Judas Traveler. Like Linkara's stuff, man. Like, he's a comic book guy, and that's cool. And he also, like, he makes it episodic. So there's a story behind his whole, like, existence on YouTube and stuff, and that's really awesome. Guys that can put that effort in, you know, you get a lot of respect from me. Bennett Sage he does anime. Anyone who's interested in anime, he had Nostalgia Critic on for his 5-year anniversary.
Definitely.
Again, another guy that's willing to put the time in to do an episodic, like, story behind the review kind of thing. It was really fun. People are already putting up the tweets, Team Gabe, which is funny. Yeah, let's see. Who else is tubing right now that's killing it for me? Oh, goal. Okay, well, I'll take a goal. All right, celebrate goals. Okay, fun stuff. Let's see. Don Sportscast is doing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons related things. He just put up a Pathfinder video today, so that's cool. You guys should go check that out. A lot of, if you can't tell from the streams, I have a diverse interest in, you know, not only just gaming and sports, in comics, in role-playing games. You know, if I found a way to have conversations about LARPing, I'd probably try to do that too. Plus, you know, I cook. I'm a dad. I do all these things. I'm not good at anything, but, you know, I try to do just about everything. So yeah, what else? Who else is on the tubes? Phalis has been putting up his. He did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle review yesterday. That was really good, because it was it crossed over the '87 Turtles. That was fun. And oh man, Cinema Snob. Yeah, he did a tasting video. Brad Tries. His Brad Tries videos are probably the coolest things I've seen going. I am such a fan of Brad Tries because he will go out of his way, find something so obscure just so he can, you know, put up a video on it, and he tried some like cherry blossom Pepsi or something. It was super good. You watch the video. His Brad tries videos are usually really short, so if you're looking just for something real quick to pop off on, he'll give you the info and move on with his life. I'm kind of waiting for his fair. He should have a fair video coming up. I don't know if it's going to be coming up. I don't know his schedule, but he should have another state fair video soon, next couple of months, I would think, given his schedule of posting them. And his state video fair videos are awesome. He usually gets with his friends and they try food. You go check him out too. I don't know. Well, let's talk about this. I get to watching like YouTube's list of vines. Who puts those up? I know those the Vine people. I've heard them say in their vines before that they don't make any money doing the vines, independent of the Vine. Like obviously they could do appearances and stuff like that for money because now they're internet celebrities and whatnot. But who puts up the YouTube like best compilations, hard to laugh challenges and stuff like that? Is it one of them, or are we looking at a YouTuber who's just kind of taking the credit for someone else's work? I'd hate to see that. You know, I'm gonna try to promote other YouTubers on here. I don't want you guys to think that I'm just trying to get views by bringing up their names, but you know, these are guys I watch, so I want you guys to go check them out. You know, check me out, but you know, and I guess my video yesterday I should have probably mentioned that I watch some PewDiePie, but I do not watch a lot of PewDiePie. When it comes to watching gameplay, Game Grumps, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, I can do those. I do those pretty regularly. I've been following. Well, I didn't really get into watching a whole lot of YouTube until a couple of years ago, so I've been following them for about as long as I've been on YouTube, watching. Again, just decided to start posting stuff because why the hell not? I'm home, and if DSAC wants to come and watch me play soccer again, we'll do that. We'll rock off some soccer. I don't care. I'm trying to kill time and have some fun, enjoy myself. Plus, there's a lot of things we can talk about. A lot of things are going on in the world. Was kind of upset Supernatural didn't have an episode last night. Apparently they're taking a week off. Supernatural's season 11, super good. It's a great show. I've been watching it since day one. Some of my old DMs from my time in New York put me onto it. And I've been a fan. It's a huge fan. Love it. I got a DCU character dedicated to Supernatural mythos in Chris Winchester. If anyone ever sees me on DCU, Chris Winchester is obviously is a call to the show, but it's also the guy that runs this that you're watching currently. So yeah, no Supernatural last night, but there was Lucha Underground wrestling. Wow, I'm jumping all over the world, aren't I? Lucha Underground was a good show last night. Cueto tried to put Johnny Mundo and Cage together as a trios team with Mundo's female friend there. And they fought... what did they fight? They fought Rey Mysterio and his apprentice and Prince Puma at the end of the show. And obviously Ray went over on the show. I think I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do with Mysterio, but the rumors out there is that he's not in the title. He's not going to be holding the belt. Cueto's quote-unquote brother right now holds the belt for Lucha Underground, and I don't know if anyone has paid attention to the rumors for wrestling rumors, but like Raja and Wrestling Inc. or whatever, they've already posted that season 3 is supposed to end with Sexy Star being the first female heavyweight champion. Wow, that would be huge. I mean, she's a good wrestler. I'd like to see how they're gonna put her over to win the championship, because she'd have to go through Mil Mortez and the Monster, and then also beat the guys that are on her level. Like, I mean, they're building up Mortez and the Monster to be like these guys that just are untouchable, and everyone else is kind of, you know, anyone could lose at any time, which makes Lucha Underground's story so much better than the stories that are going on in WWE pre Shane McMahon. I will say up front that since Shane McMahon has quote-unquote been running Raw, however they decided to do that, the writers made a good decision in switching the philosophy of the WWE and also bending it around Shane McMahon, even though having Shane McMahon in the WWE is still is questionable because of how his match went down at WrestleMania. But that's not Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground's gonna, if they do what they're saying they're gonna do, and they're gonna try to put a woman as the champion. I really want to see how that storyline goes. She could do it. I mean, the matches that she's had with the guys already, you can tell she could whoop some ass. Plus that the training montages they do with her, she's putting up some weight, and she's working hard. I mean, you know. Plus, it's so nice to see a company that's willing to put the girls right in, put the women. Sorry, I keep saying girls. Putting the women in with the guys and just being like, you know what? There is no women's division. You know, I understand why WWE has women's divisions, because they wanted to have women on the show because they wanted to have sex sell, and then they wanted to legitimize it once the Attitude Era ended. So they're like, okay, well now we'll make it the Divas division, which just didn't bring any prestige to it, because Diva has negative connotations. So they bring the women's division in, and that's great, but you know, are they gonna do the right thing with it? Are they gonna be able to stay away from the prissy girl matches and have real wrestling, or are they gonna just be like, well, we're providing a job for girls, they just have to put up with the sexist part of it? And I hope that's not what happens. You know, the WWE, wow, the WWE has made its way this far by making sound decisions. Now they've made poor decisions, like putting the belt on Roman Reigns, but you know, who's gonna get more upset about that? One of the guys I like watching on YouTube is Noah Atweiler. You may know him as Spoonie, or Counter Monkey if you watch the D&D stuff. But he keeps referencing, like, it's just a poor decision. Like, going into WrestleMania, the people are booing Roman Reigns and cheering Triple H, and the WWE's response to that is, we're gonna put the belt on Roman Reigns, and then what? It's only a good thing that they have people like AJ Styles and Cesaro to even give a pop to. When Cesaro came back on Raw the next day after WrestleMania, oh my god, I thought the roof was going to blow off that building. He deserves a title run. He's got a good gimmick. He's a great wrestler. I mean, you could check him all the way back to Chikara days. He's a great wrestler. You know, AJ Styles, I mean, everyone was super stoked to have him on the roster. Then he loses Jericho at WrestleMania so that he can win an opportunity at the title the next. I don't understand how that worked, but I mean, he's talented. He's small. Like, that's one of the reasons why he didn't make it in the WWE when he was in there the first time. By the way, he was in there once before. He's small. And WWE has not had a lot of success with putting the belt on small people. Wrestling Regrets, I think is his name, pointed out that one of the worst title reigns, that, like, legitimate, not David Arquette kind of thing, was WWE's run with Rey Mysterio. Because Rey Mysterio is small. And you make out these giant guys with the like Big Show capable of punching out a dude with one punch, and in the same roster line you're going to have this guy that's 160 pounds. And I mean, I love Rey Mysterio. His style is awesome, but I guess this ties Lucha Underground into WWE right now because we're talking about Rey Mysterio, but you can't have a lucha style wrestler who is, you know, he needs to be lucha to succeed. He's not going to pick up the Big Show. He's not going to go pick up Kane. I mean, shit, I would be led to believe that he's not picking up Triple H. You know, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna fight smaller guys. So now you got to bring in smaller guys to compete with Rey Mysterio because you want Rey Mysterio to go over. Okay, so who do you bring in? Well, you ran with the Juventud Guerreros and the Billy Kidmans and stuff like that. When WWE took over WCW, that was a thing that could have happened, but it doesn't work for the stars you already have on the roster. Rey Mysterio should never lose a match to, even though I don't like the idea of it, but Rey Mysterio doesn't lose to John Cena because John Cena just throws Rey Mysterio around. Now, granted, it's the underdog storyline, which makes it like, oh, he could do anything because he's the underdog, and who knows, anything's possible. Well, everything's not possible because about the third or fourth time you run into the guy that's 3 times your size, you're gonna lose. That's just how that works because he's just as trained as you are. If Rey Mysterio is fighting me, he beats me every time. But Rey Mysterio fighting a guy that's trained, sorry. I love Rey Mysterio. Him in Lucha Underground makes way more sense because most of the Lucha Underground roster is something he can handle physically. Like, he could go and, you know, maybe do a little bit more. In the match that he had with Johnny Mundo and Cage, he did get the 619 off on actually the man, I can't think of her name, the girl and Mundo at the same time. But again, like, you watch the match, and when Cage gets his hands on him, it's pretty apparent that, you know, if Cage wanted to, he could eat his soul. That's just the way it is. So, you know, but props to Rey. I would really like to see him in the title hunt at some point in Lucha Underground. But, like I said, spoilers for Season 3 says that he's not going to, unless he holds it somewhere in between, or maybe he's the one that would, I don't know if I would like that if I was anyone representing Rey Mysterio, because he's not going to hold it for a season. He's not going to win it on week 1 of Season 3 and then lose it at the last week. There's a good storyline right now with Cueto's brother there not being able to be beat. So, you know, it's interesting. I don't know. And right now, it's Lucha Underground has a better overall story than WWE does. But let's see. That's about 15 minutes of me talking about wrestling. I guess you guys understand I like it. So why don't we? I'll come back to the sports though. Let's talk about football. I like football a lot. The draft. Well, actually, before the draft, let's talk about Will Smith. Saints defensive lineman who got shot a couple days ago. Coroner revealed he got shot 8 times, 7 times in the back. Honey Badger, Tyrann Matthews from the Cardinals, says he knows the guy that shot Will Smith, calls him a coward. What the hell is going on there? Like, another report says that witnesses saw Will Smith had a gun. So,
it's a penalty for Aberdeen.
Are we at the point where the guy that shot Will Smith was doing it in a pseudo self-defense, or are we under the impression that Will Smith had a gun to protect himself from the guy that was going to shoot him? What? I don't know. But that trial, that will get some publicity, at least a little bit, you know, from the NFL world, because people are going to want to know. My understanding is Will Smith was a well-respected man in the NFL, well-liked, big brother to a lot of people, hell of a player. So it's a sad moment to see someone die, especially in his 30s. I mean, he was 34, 35. He was just out of the NFL. It wasn't that long ago that he was playing. So, you know, he is a coward. The guy that shot, you shoot a man anytime, you're a coward. And you shoot a man in the back 7 times, I don't care what the reason is, you're a coward. That's, you know, heart goes out to Will Smith's family, but, you know, this is the life in America, man. Like, any jackass can have a gun, and any jackass can do whatever they want, and then we wonder why people do what they want. Because we're greedy. We're a greedy country, and we're like, well, you know, that guy's got what I want, and I have a gun, so I can take what I want, and that guy can't do squat about it. And, I mean, outside of having a gun, you really can't do anything about it. I will never own a gun. You know, if there comes a day where someone wants what I have, first off, they're a fool, because I have nothing. I have jack. But if they want to come and try, I will be more than willing to put my life on the line without using a gun. I promise that. But yeah, it's just the life we live now. You know, celebrities are a target. I mean, they'd make themselves out to be targets, though. They could go to work and go home like every normal person does. But they don't. They Johnny Manziel it, who's interesting in the talking about living with Von Miller, and then reports are saying he's living with Josh Gordon, and then his agent drops him, all because he can't stop drinking. And then they get him on TMZ, and he takes the camera from the TMZ guy, and he's obviously drunk, and he's trying to have an interview. Like, come on. All you got to do is not drink, and you could play football and make money. And goddamn, if there isn't a whole bunch of people around the world that would be like, man, I get to pay millions of dollars to play a sport that I love, and this guy is, well, I can play the sport and be an alcoholic. No, you can't, dude, because you get arrested. You're coming to practices and workouts and stuff hungover. Like, that's documented shit. And that was cool in the 70s, because in the 70s there wasn't as many people that could play the sport. You know, like, you had a pro athlete, not even the 70s. I mean, look at the 90s. Jim Kelly was on record as saying that he's been drunk more than once playing the game. Terry Bradshaw, probably the same thing. I think it was Terry Bradshaw said the same thing. You know, because you would go out and get drunk the night before, you know, the night before the Super Bowl or whatever, and you just, that'd be it. That's just how life was going. But there wasn't the talent, the capability, the talent of the capability. Like, Frank Wright was fine, but he wasn't going to be the guy that was going to take over Jim Kelly's spot. You know, and you're not going to go out on the street and find another Jim Kelly. So you put up with him doing silly things. It's kind of like, back to wrestling, Shawn Michaels being a complete tool bag back in the 90s. In the back, where everyone's like, well, he's a tool. Yeah, but he's one of the greatest talents on your roster, and you're going to deal with it, because if you speak up, you're not going to have a roster spot. That's kind of how it is with celebrities across the board, like sports celebrities at least. But then you also get things like Lamar Odom, who I mean, thankfully just got out of the coma and whatnot, but how did he go in the coma? He went in the coma because he was doing drugs. You know? Why are we celebrating the fact that he came? Like, he made that piss poor decision. That's on him. And I know that probably doesn't sit well with people who are like, well, a life is a life. But yeah, but it's survival of the fittest too. You know, Darwinism. Like, stupid people should not be around, and that's a stupid decision. And I think he would be able to admit that it was a stupid decision. Now, I hope he gets his life back around, because he's, you know, he was a good player. He was fun to watch. Again, one of the players I like, being a lefty. Also a lefty. I appreciated his his gameplay because I could understand it more. There's another goal. Not that that matters. But seeing him on the Kobe tribute last night when Kobe retired, I was kind of torn on it, how to feel, because it's like, yeah, you know, Lamar Odom was with Kobe for a long time, and Kobe and him are probably really close, but I don't know if it's if I'm a Lakers person putting together a package for Kobe Bryant, if I've got to go into the Lamar Odom pool to get a tribute together, when you got players that, you know, like, you got other people around the league who represent the league well that probably could have said the same thing Lamar Odom said, you know. Oh, another goal. I don't know. So, off the top of my head, I didn't see Russell Westbrook, even though I don't necessarily know that they get along, but I mean, they had Durant. It would just make sense. Of course they had LeBron, because apparently you can't do anything without having LeBron James in it anymore. I mean, yeah, he's a talent. He's a great player. Get Cleveland to the playoffs the first time he was there. But let's be completely honest about it. If he doesn't win a championship with Cleveland, everyone can have the argument that the only reason he won is because he went and got other talent to play with him. You know, and yeah, that's what happens. But like, you look at other great teams, and people don't go out of their way to go get that. They don't go into free agency to get that. Like, I guess it's more of a dirty roster, because you look at it and go, oh well, this wasn't built through the draft and through training and stuff. It was built through money, and that's true. The Heat rosters that went to the championships was built through cash, and that was it. And they tried to do it again. He tried to do it again, but it didn't work out because Melo stayed in New York. You know, and kudos to the GMs that are capable of pulling off such a thing where they can get LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh on the same roster. But you know, shame on the NBA for letting that be a thing. You know, you're telling your fans that, you know, that these guys are representatives of the league and stuff, and that, you know, it's important that you try to make common ground with them, and then you go out and buy a roster to win. You know, that's, I mean, before the MLB put the salary cap into place, that was what the Yankees did too. And I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm actually very much against the Yankees on almost every step that they've taken, even on their title runs. They've had great players that they had in-house with Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter, but they paid for the championships. Like, there's, again, cap was a really good idea. There should be a cap in every league, and if you have a cap in every league, which the NBA does, which is a counterpoint to mine about buying the roster, is the NBA has a salary cap, and they were able to get everything in the cap. And with the way that we have access to social medias, and the way we have access to being able to communicate with people across the country, it's obvious that that's how it's going to happen. People are going to take pay cuts so they can get those rings, which, hey, more to you if that's what you want. But you can't, in one sentence, say, I want to be the greatest of all time, and then also say, but I'm going to go play with 3 other guys that feel the same way. Like, again, kudos to the teams that can pull it off, but the players that are, I mean, you guys are talented players. You should be able, you know, if LeBron is as good as everyone's trying to make him sound out to be, he wouldn't have had to go to Miami. Now, again, not a Cleveland fan, not a Miami fan. There's game 2 with a 3-0 win. Kudos to me. But man, it's interesting, and it's more interesting because after this season, he's got another chance to leave again.
Motherwell 1.
And
Celtic 2.
with who's in free agency, I think this is Durant's free agency season. Or it might be next year. But he's going to have another opportunity to do the same thing again. And Cleveland fans should be worried. Because, again, I don't think there's a team that can beat Golden State. And he wants that championship. He wants those chips. Even though he's already got a couple, and he could just be helping his hometown team. But that's not what playing sports is about. Like, that's as much as it's a negative that he would go seeking the championships. That is what the game is about. Helping out your town and stuff like that. That's a side thing. That's what the organization wants you to do, because they want you to bring in people. They don't care about the fact that you're just trying to play a sport. But that's a rant for another time, I guess. All right, game 3. St. John Stone VC football club. Wow, I wish I could read. So we'll do game 3. We'll probably do 4 games like we did last time. I'll go back to the Blues this time, put them in white. But yeah, we'll do 4 again, and then we'll call it for today. So yeah, I mentioned earlier I played DCUO. I got that running too. Got a league, doing my thing. This is just one of those games that DCUO is, anyways, where I've been trying to get into that game to get friends to get into that, so I have a little bit more of a social experience with the game. And man, I counted. I actually counted. I got a piece of paper in front of me right now of all the people that said they were going to play that game and then walked away. And I have over 20 people listed. It's just crazy because at one time I thought I was going to be getting on and running 8-mans with all people I know, and setting up a league, and it would just be the whole roster being filled with people I know, and it's not that way. But that's cool because I got my thing going. I enjoy it. We go. I made a league called the Fourth Order. We do our thing. Mostly individual stuff right now because none of us are at 160, but I'm high man on the roster. I'm trying to get up there. It's the grind. That's all it is. But yeah. So DCO's fun. It's outside of Skyrim. I would say it's probably one of the sports games that I like playing the most. Skyrim's a lot of fun because Skyrim does exactly what I need it to do as far as video games. I get to do a lot of character creation, which I love. I get to be in a fantasy world like Dungeons and Dragons fantasy world, which I love, and I get to play with magic and swords, and there's dragons, which I love. So that's that all works out. That's cool stuff. And DCO kind of hits another set of genre for me, and that I love superheroes. I'm getting more and more into the lore of the superheroes and less of just the idea of them being superheroes, like watching the shows and stuff. I'm actually starting to read more of the published materials to understand the characters better and whatnot. But yeah, it's just another side of the coin, I guess, or what have you. So yeah, we're in game 3 here. I think I scored in both of the games prior. I've played in 2. This will be the 3rd game in a row I've played in, so my stamina hasn't been that bad. I have went back a couple times and played a little bit of defense, but not to the point where I'm killing myself. And I'm doing a lot more of that, passing the ball up, getting someone else to score, which is good. I need to be the creator that I made the character out to be, and not the shot taker, the greedy guy. So there's another goal. Cool stuff. Another new guy I haven't seen score. I mean, he may have scored in the first 2 games. I wasn't really paying attention to the people who scored, just the fact that we did score the first 2 games. I am paying a little bit more attention to this one because I've had all my epic rants already about overpaid athletes and how social media affects stuff and all of that. What was I gonna talk about? I was gonna talk about the draft, and then I got started talking about Will Smith, and then I talked about celebrities. So the draft. I think it's very apparent at this point that it's gonna be 2 quarterbacks at the top of the order. Like they can't really not do that at this point because St. Louis didn't move up to get a tackle. If that was the case, if they moved up to get a tackle, then they've been cutting the wrong people during the offseason. So they're coming up to get a quarterback. They think one of these guys is going to be the face of their LA franchise. Okay, great. Awesome. Cleveland can't, if they're going to take a pick at 2 and not trade out, they have to take a quarterback. Because RG3 is the only guy on their roster that's really worth a damn right now. You know, Josh McDowell is 175 and not really a proven quarterback. You know, you have a couple of good games, that does not make you a good quarterback. And league-wide, teams got to start looking at that because Matt Flynn did it a couple years ago. Josh McDowell did it a couple years after him. But teams look at a flash in the pan of stats and they're like, oh, damn, let's go get him. And then they spend way too much money and they don't get any better. And then they wonder why their fan base, like Oakland, I'm looking at you, or Cleveland, Tampa Bay, you know, why they're looking at their rosters going, well, what the fuck? Why can a team that doesn't make the playoffs, like, well, I don't know, let's say Detroit, have a franchise quarterback established, but they just don't win? And we go out and get the guy that had a hot streak and we can't do nothing. Well, it's because the hot streak wasn't really that great. When Matt Flynn's Packer game, where he ended up blowing up the Lions for like 600 yards and stuff like that, that's what got him the contract with Oakland. And really, or was it Seattle? Maybe it was Seattle he got that contract with. But like, how in the world are you going to base giving that kind of money to a guy because of, like, ideally one game? When he was drafted to be a backup if he stayed in the league. But that's GMs going with their guts. But anyways, back to Cleveland. Now, RG3 is an interesting case because he can play football, and if Washington buried him that bad to where like he comes to Cleveland and does well, I mean, it just makes Washington look worse than they already are because they're still the Redskins, and you know, all of the political correctness about them not being the Redskins, which they shouldn't be anymore. Realistically, there should be enough of an outcry where people should, you know, they should just be like, okay, well, yeah, it's a branding thing and we lose a lot of money from previous merchandise that we already have made, but put it down that like next year you're not going to be the Redskins anymore, and then you stop making the products so that you're not losing money on your products, because obviously that's the reason why it's not getting done. It has nothing to do with anything else about it, despite what Daniel Snyder says. Daniel Snyder being all like, oh, it's, you know, it's a compliment and stuff like that. Well, obviously it's not, because people are speaking out about it. So, you know, stop buying your $100,000 suits and change your name.
Good link up.
What name? I have no idea what would be a good name to replace it with, but goddamn, like, there's enough complaints. It can't be the Redskins anymore. But that's not what we were talking about. Goddamn, I gotta get off these rants. Cleveland, RG3, if he succeeds, or if they think he can succeed, then drafting a quarterback isn't a big deal. Now, my understanding, before like NFL.com and stuff got a hold of it too much and the draft got closer and closer, was that this draft class for quarterbacks was going to be poor. Now, poor in what sense? That there's only one or two guys that are franchise capable, or poor in the sense that the overall quarterback grades across the board are going to be lower than other positions? Because if you think one of the two quarterbacks at the top of the draft drafts out higher than RG3 did, then you're going to take a quarterback if you're Cleveland, right? But if either of the quarterbacks, or if both the quarterbacks or none of the quarterbacks are higher than RG3, you're not taking a quarterback. So Cleveland is looking at what? Well, Ramsey, as I said before, as a Lions fan, I would love Ramsey. If Cleveland was willing to give up the pick, I would beg Detroit. I would sell things for Detroit to go up and get Ramsey.
And he knows it too, doesn't he? Look at his expression.
With this idea, the coaching staff in Detroit is this has got to be their make or break year. Like, go get a playoff win, go deep in the playoffs, or you're gone. Jim Caldwell, you're on the clock, dude. Like, and for anyone who says that, well, 3 years isn't enough time, well, tough titties, because Lions fans want to see a winner. All the teams that lose want to see a winner. That's why Buffalo is so stoked to see Rex Ryan come, because Rex Ryan represents winning, even though he didn't do that in New York. But he gives an attitude of winning. He brings an attitude, which is good. But Caldwell should be doing basically the same thing Jeff Fisher did. Like, I may not be coaching this team after next year, so I'm going to go out and get the players that can help me win this year, so I can guarantee my job for next year. So I'm gonna get with a GM, and we're gonna okay this massive trade that's gonna move. I know what did it end up moving, like 10 or 12 picks overall between the two teams. And I'm gonna go get my franchise quarterback, and I'm gonna rely on his ability to transition to the pros to my job. Or in hopes that if he does at least decently, I can convince the owner that, you know, year one quarterbacks don't tend to be, you know, as good as they could be. You know, they make the comparisons to Peyton Manning and whatnot, not having a great starts. But so if you're a Lions fan, you know, you're going, well, if one can get traded, I think two can get traded. And if two can get traded, two should get traded to us, and we should go get Ramsey. Personal opinion. We haven't had a... Darius Slay is a beast of a corner, but we haven't had... I don't know. I want that guy that gets fear from opponents. And not... I don't want this to be just like a generic, well, Darius Slay plus other generic cornerback, and then Quinn and generic other safety. I don't like that. But you know, they're not going to move up that far. I mean, realistically, they're not going to give up all those draft picks.
Well, he played really well, didn't he? And he got himself a goal.
Because they value, I know from the conversations that I've seen from the GMs and the owners that they value the opportunity to have the picks. Even though the quality of the draft says that, oh, there's another goal. Going out and getting someone like Ramsey, a top-tier player, or Jack, who's a top-tier player, a guy that can play the position for 10 years for you, is not going to happen at 16. You know, and I'm about sick of seeing people say Detroit needs to draft another offensive lineman. Are you freaking kidding me? No, they don't. They don't need to. Not in the first round. No, they don't. Riley Reef is not a natural left tackle. So what? Here's an idea. Instead of throwing the ball 50 times with Matt Stafford, how about we run the ball? Because guess what? Riley Reef's a really good run blocker. He always has been. So you go out and you run the ball instead of running it 15 times a freaking game, which is ridiculous. With the talent, the roster, the talent that we had and the talent that we have, Joint Bell, Abdullah, Theo Riddick, and we run the ball 15 times a game? Now, granted, Theo Riddick went out bonkers and got 80 catches last year, which is awesome. But that just gives him more value as a running back. Now, if you're going to throw the ball 50 times a game still, and you're going to be throwing to Theo Riddick, you're going to be throwing short passes. So Riley Reef doesn't have to be a superstar, right? So what the hell? Let's go out and get the talent that we need instead of the talent that we don't need a tackle. We need defensive help bad though. Ramsey would be fantastic pickup if it was a possibility. I don't necessarily think it is a possibility. I think there's more possibility that Detroit's probably going to stand pat, despite the fact that no one wants that. Well, none of the fans want that, I don't think. And if I see another draft that says that they're going to take a receiver, I'm about to freak out. All right, Calvin Johnson was one of the greatest receivers. That's fine. Hall of Famer status? I don't know. He didn't win any championships. What records he has are mostly home records, like for the Lions themselves. But, you know, he's a great receiver. But we have good receivers. Golden Tate is he's a great talent. Golden Tate could probably be the number one. I don't have a problem with that. With Marvin Jones being a number two, and then with what we have on the roster, there's no reason that you can't spread out Ebron away from the line or put Riddick out in pass for 3 and 4 receivers, and you're set. There's no, like, yes, we have other receivers on the roster. TJ Jones is there. And you can get a receiver later in the draft. You know, you can go get one in free agency. I hear tell there's a couple of guys in free agency who, you know, aren't necessarily on the Lions' radar, but they're on my radar. You know, so you don't need a receiver at that pick. You don't need a tackle at that pick, unless you're certain that that guy is going to be one of those two guys is going to be your number one at whatever position you take him in for the rest of his career. Now I understand that you can't predict that because I don't think anyone saw Ndamukong Suh leaving Detroit to go to Miami, but he went and followed them. But so who do they take? Again, trade up is the only option for me. You're trading up and you're going in and you're going to try to get a top 5 prospect because they're saying there's a lot of value in the second round this year for the draft. Like there's a lot of second and third round talent. I don't know what that grades out for like overall stuff, but like on like Mel and Todd McShay's like 10-point system. But if you're gonna go ahead and tell me that there's a lot of second round talent, and second round talent plays in the NFL, that works, and we're filling holes right now. We're not trying. You don't need. Oh, I don't know if I got kicked out of that game or if I was subbed out. Who knows? Anyways, the Lions shouldn't be looking at those positions. Defensive backs, linebackers.
At the top of the table remain Celtic with 25 points.
If I could let you guys in a little secret, interweb of getting secrets. I've been on the table that I don't think Matt Stafford's the guy.
Then reading up the table, second bottom, Ross County with
Detroit does. Detroit thinks that he's the guy. They think he's a franchise guy. I think that's hurting them in the long run because there's teams that probably be convinced that he's the guy for them too. And we missed out on an opportunity for a couple things. I think Kellen Moore could have got a shake in that offense because it was a quick pass offense a couple years ago. He could have been a quarterback for us. And as long as it's a quick straight offense, any quarterback that can be accurate can fit. You know, I'm thinking more along the lines of like Chad Pennington back in the day. Who are we playing this game? Last game on the stream, I can't tell. The Bird People. Yeah, Chad Pennington back in the Jets days. He can't throw deep, but he was accurate, and that's what kept him in the league. Plus, Stafford's cap number is huge. It's ridiculous. You're paying this guy playoff money, and you're not making the playoffs. Well, I understand it's not all on him, but then you can't put that kind of money on players if you're not making the playoffs. But that's your number. So yeah, my draft prediction for the Lions is that they, well, my hopes and therefore my predictions is that they will trade up.
Yeah, such a popular
let's see. Playoff. I'm going to do some playoff predictions for basketball and hockey. I am going to say the Penguins. Did they even make playoffs? I don't know. Again, don't follow hockey strong enough. I'm going to say the Penguins win the cup because it's fun to say that. Pisses off a lot of Sabres fans. And I'm going to say, man,
here there's a different kind of pressure for them. We know there's a lot of good players.
Did the Royals really do any much to improve, or do they just get picked a lot? Because that's usually what happens to championship teams. Teams just pick them apart. I mean, look at Denver. Denver was like, oh, well, we don't necessarily need Peyton to come back because we got Brock. And then Brock's like, peace, I'm going to Houston. But I don't know if Kansas City could do the same things again. I don't know. Baltimore, the way Baltimore started, I mean, it's really, really early in the season, but the way Baltimore started, it would almost be perceivable for them. But I'm going to go ahead and make a pick for one of my friends. I'm going to say this is the Mets year. I'm going to say the Mets go out.
Good forward play from them.
They do the dirty work, and
here's a chance.
They get a championship. Pull it out. So we're gonna go Mets Penguins for baseball and hockey. And there's not a debate with me right now. The Warriors are gonna win the championship in the NBA.
Intercepting, if you like. And now can go on the
there
attack,
hasn't been a team that can prove that they can even hang. They lost 9 times, but guess what? In an 82-game season, as they proved last night, 9 losses is unheard of. You don't do that. So, yeah, Golden State's going to win that. I'll probably give some insight into my predictions for the NFL after preseason. There's too many injuries that happen in the preseason to say for certain who's going to do anything.
Good position. They've worked this attack very well.
So last game, I've won 3 games. Talking to you guys about stuff that isn't about soccer. So maybe I'm gonna do that on the streams all the time. Not talk about soccer at all, and just play. Talk about random shit. But you could always comment. Tell me what you want to talk about. I'm more than willing to talk about just about anything. Politics, I guess. I mean, there's not really much. Here's the thing about politics, guys. Right now, especially with the candidacies and trying to figure out who's going to be running for president and whatnot, is if you're a Republican, I'm sorry you're about to hear this, but it's a Democrat win already because the Republican is a giant clusterfuck right now. Are you kidding me? Their decisions to let Donald Trump get this far into a possible candidacy and then fear that he's going to actually win it and then start going out of the way to promote people that aren't even on the ballot. I've heard that if he doesn't get the nomination, that Mitt Romney might be an option for presidency. Huh? No. Well, guess what? He's not an option for presidency then. Because he's an option for the Republican Party, and there's no one coming out of the Republican Party that can win this. This is going to come down to who can win between Bernie and Hillary. And it seems pretty obvious that Hillary's going to clean up, but Bernie's pushing. And if you're in this household, at least, not named Chris, because I don't necessarily know who I want to vote for right now, Bernie's your guy. I think it would probably be a great thing because he is socialist. He wants to free up some things that make more sense. I guess we can get on that topic while we have time in this game. Marijuana should be legal. I don't smoke it, obviously, but it should be legal. And it should be taxed the shit out. Government wants to make some money, tax marijuana. make it legal, tax it, and then if it's being sold illegally, at that point, then you have like federal cases, and people are going to be less stupid about wanting to break the law because it's a federal law at that point. Now, I understand it's a federal law right now not to sell marijuana, but it's legal in some states, which makes it makes a gray area. So you take away the gray area, you legalize it, and then you tax the shit out of it, and then it's like cigarettes, you know? People that smoke cigarettes complain about cigarettes costing too much money. Well, guess what? They still buy cigarettes, and yeah, you can go on to Indian reservations and buy cigarettes, but you know, that's your loophole, I guess. Are you gonna do that with marijuana too? Like, I doubt it. Pardon me. I doubt that people. I mean, it'll happen. I mean, reservations will take advantage of that because it'll make them money, but people are going to pay legitimately for marijuana, just like they do for cigarettes. And I'm not saying it's illegitimate to go to a reservation, but they're going to get it for the taxed price. So, I mean, the government's losing a lot of money doing that. But, yeah. And I think Bernie said that in his speeches, that, you know, that's what we need to do. We need to make it legal because it's medical help right now. I mean, there's the states that are using it for medicinal purposes it's, you know, it has positive effects. Now, granted, it's a drug, so it's got to be regulated. But again, that's something the government can do. And again, tax the shit out of it, make money. Government loves to make money. I don't understand why they wouldn't be all about that.
Wasn't very good control. They've lost the ball.
So, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that politics stuff too much, because that made me kind of angry right now, thinking about how stupid the Republican Party sounds, and the fact that no matter how stupid they sound, one of them is going to represent a whole group of people and has a chance to be a president. If something stupid happened to the Democrats right now, and the Republicans come election day for the presidency got their shit together,
that would be a free kick,
and actually won. No, I'm in the firm belief that no matter what happens in the first 4 years, nothing gets done, whether it's a Democrat or Republican president. But still, nothing gets done. They might get a second term, and that's when shit usually happens. I mean, no one wants the Republicans in there. I don't even think the Republicans want to win it. They just want to try to keep on their majority in Congress. Is it Congress? Or, yeah, they want to hold the, because then they could just stop whatever Democratic president is there, which is another weird thing. Bernie Sanders is very clearly not a Democrat. How is he? How did he trick that? There's some tricksters in this year's candidacy, because Trump convinced the Republicans he's a Republican, and then Bernie convinced the Democrats. Bernie is an independent who has enough followers to be able to fly under one of the flags. He is not a Democrat, and his viewpoints, though democratic, are so left-wing that there's just, I don't know, there's just no way that let's say a neutral Democrat, someone who holds a democratic view but holds it closer to the middle, there's no way that they would be able to follow him across the board. That's where Hillary wins that, because she's more mainstream to the Democratic viewpoints. But anyways, we got this half's almost over. This half is over. I got one more half, and I'm done for the day, guys. I'm gonna call it in. We're gonna have, but this will be 4 games. Another 4 games. I think putting a pretty good dent into being in Hamilton, even though, damn, why am I in Hamilton? The transfer is still real. I know I'm probably, 3 weeks behind schedule on baseball. I probably won't get baseball for a while. But, we'll be streaming baseball when I get it. And then I probably will do the same thing with football once football comes out. If not, they might be coming out. For me, I might be getting access to them at around the same time. So we very easily could just be doing a split on baseball and football. Do a football game one day and then baseball the next or whatever. I don't know. So if anyone watches this, wants to give me some insight to any of the topics that I've covered in today or yesterday's live stream, please feel free to comment. Let me know. Did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Tell me your opinion. Maybe we can have an open discussion about it. Maybe we can, I don't know, Snap or Skype and play a game against each other and actually have the debate. That's my only rule. If we're going to have a debate about anything, you got to be willing to play a game against me at the same time. Because I can't have you thinking focused. Because most people will outsmart me right off the top of it. But if I got them playing games, I might have a chance. I don't have a chance. But yeah, I'm more than willing to have the conversations. I am not a political analyst. I am not a sporting scout. I am just a man who has interests and likes to have his opinion felt. So I am more than just, if someone gives me a good piece of information, I may be willing to just take it and, I'll edit myself I'll go on my next stream and point out that I was wrong, if that's what the case is. But I don't know if there's a lot of the topics that we talked about today that people are going to have opinions that are going to be able to shake me too much, being that a lot of the things we talked about were, celebrities not having to be celebrities and just being the roles that they are, and just, that one probably has got a little wiggle room, because they could have the issue with, like, people wanting autographs and stuff and people not leaving them alone. Okay, well, that was your choice of field, man. Like, you don't have to go into that field. It's Gillespie. And I don't know. It just doesn't. If you want to be an actor, you want to be an actress, you got to know that stuff comes with it. And if you don't know that stuff comes with it, then when that stuff comes, shame on you. Like, you got to know better. You're an adult, or you're being represented by adults. In the case of the children who are acting. Ooh, that was nasty. Anyways, yeah. So you can leave comments if you want. You can get at me. Let me know if there's anything you want to discuss, any topics to debate. I'll keep bringing up YouTubers I think you guys should be watching. I won't always have sports be the topic of conversation through my chat. I will try my damnedest to diversify my funds and diversify my conversation. But be warned that sports are probably a pretty big chunk. I think next time I do this, we're going to do a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons talk, a little bit of role playing. Talk about that and see, where that goes. Granted, it'll be with the facade of me playing soccer, which is, let's talk not really soccer, because look, bam. See what I do there? I do. I mean, we're winning. It's 1-0. But I haven't been playing that well. But anyways, yeah. What else? What else do I want to talk about? With my stream, I can talk about whatever I want. But that's not what I want to do. I want to try to get in conversations with people. See if people have things to say about stuff. The most vague conversation ever. People and stuff.
Redmond.
Now
it goes into the wider areas where they've got a winger.
I don't know. I'm focused on soccer, and I'm worried that I'm.
Here's a chance.
Oh, I just kicked it right at the goalie. I've done that like 7 times on the stream alone. Just kick it right at the goalie. I'm going to hurt his chest and his feelings, and he's going to feel bad. He's going to give me a goal. Oh, see? It's right here. It's right here. Oh, I got mugged. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyways, what else is going on? I don't do a whole lot of world news. I don't do a whole lot of news overall. Let's get that out of the way. I don't like talking about the news. I don't like watching the news because if the televised news is trying to get people to watch, so they're only going to put up stuff that's shocking. They're not going to put up news. They're going to put up people who died. They're going to put up, you know, depressing information that is just going to make you come back because you want to make sure the depressing information doesn't impact you. So my news information will probably be more along, you know, sports and gaming. Which, speaking of sports and gaming, there's another guy you guys should watch. Go watch Boogie. I'm sure everyone's watching Boogie. He's got like millions of subscribers, as do most of the people that I'm chatting about today. You know, they're well-known, well-represented people, but the topics they cover are very interesting. So I'm going to give them a shout out, even though it doesn't matter, because no one watches mine. But when someone down the line watches this and they go, "Oh man, he was talking about guys that I watch," and, you know, I'm giving out respect to the people that deserve it. Okay. Supernatural's episode next week. Season 11. How is Season 11 going to end in Supernatural? Let's talk about that. Anyone who doesn't know, the spoilers coming real quick, and they're going to hurt, I think. God's sister is a thing. She's a person. The darkness. And she's free. And is that a yellow card on me? That dude flopped. Whatever. She's back. She's out. She's causing chaos. The boys tried to make a deal with Lucifer because Lucifer and God were to work together to put the darkness away the first time. And that ended up leading to Castiel getting his body taken by Lucifer, and we're at that point. Crowley is kind of just being a guy, being a douche, but not being really of a douche. He's kind of trying to help. But the way that the way that the story's going, it almost makes it sound like they are going to show us who God is this season. Now, why is that a problem or a concern of mine? Well, they've been renewed, and we'll be getting another season. So they go, oh, I got another goal. They go out of the way and give us the God card right now and show us who that is. What's their next step? What's their end game? What are they going to do? And I thought about this, and what I'm thinking is that they're going to if they did do the God thing, if the darkness was gone after this season, it was gone, it was resolved, which that's an option. They may not resolve it and just make it go into the next season. They could go fight other gods, but they did that in like season 5 or 4 or something like that. There was a bunch of gods killed. Which I didn't understand. Like, maybe I misunderstood how this episode went, but there was a room full of gods that wanted to eat humans, and Sam and Dean left, and then the gods died. And then
He might be through. He's got his shot off now.
Now I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen there. But this game is about to end, and we're gonna end the stream. But let me know, anyone, let me know any of your thoughts on any of the topics, please. Cripes almighty, I need some information. I gotta have an opinion here. Someone tell me something. Anyone, is my soccer skills gone up? Am I good? Did I do it? Have I made you proud? No? I didn't think so. That's good. Alright guys, well that's 4 games, 4-0 across the board. Here's my shooting. I shot a lot. I missed a lot. But, yeah, I got 2 goals. 9.5 rating. Apparently that's really good. I'm covering a lot of the field. I played the whole game again. So, what, 2 of the 4 games I played the entirety of? But I played 4 straight, so I wasn't fatigued out for any of them. That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there'll be a stream tomorrow. I'll try to keep putting them up. We'll see how it goes. But you guys have a good day, and bye.